Okay, hello everybody. This is Bloody Sword here yet again with another replay analysis. So this time it is going to be a Terran versus Terran. I'm going to be spawning in the bottom left as the blue Terran versus my opponent in the top right. Going to be spawning as the red Terran. LShunterS NGameS. So, nameplates? Okay, there we go. So my opponent is going to be opening up with a gas first. Or actually, is this a gas? Because mine was definitely a gas second. So yeah, it looks like his is going to be a gas first, going to be opening with a fast double gas as well. So at this point, not really too sure what to expect. I'm going for a gas second, which means my Reaper is going to be... Actually, is it a little bit later? Is it actually faster? I'm not sure if a gas first is faster than a um, gas second build. Anyway, Reaper going to be going to the third base. Since I'm playing a defensive build, since I'm getting my fast expansion, I'm just going to be scouting around my base. This is what I've been doing recently in TvT, using the Reaper quite defensively, going to be placing the Marine at the high ground for the only place on this map you can't actually... when I first saw this map, I thought there were a lot of areas, but these little doodads are blocking a large portion of where the Reaper can jump in. So aggressive 2 racks proxy Reaper openings can only jump in from this area since there's no doodads here. And that's pretty much it. They can run up the ramp as well, but I believe this area is also blocked off, so this is the only area where you can kind of poke in here with a Reaper. So again, my opponent is going to be going for a tech lab on the factory and a starport. At this point, I still don't exactly know what's up. If we go into my vision, you can see that I'm just trying to get any scouting information at all. I thought he was going to be going for a expand, but especially since he had the early scout in my base, but there was no such luck. I also try and scout for any form of proxy at all, but unable to see a starport. I thought originally when I was at this point in the game, I thought it was possibly a proxy battlecruiser build. I've had a few times where people hide a starport right here and then float in a battlecruiser, which is why I believe I queue up a cyclone right after I get this tank. Going to be getting the Raven as well just to disable the possible battlecruisers, but in TvT Ravens are just really good. So now I have my second expansion up. I get my third gas pretty early here, and I don't think there's anything really too wrong with that because I normally try and get 2 Ravens. Getting up my second barracks here, and so I'm just going to straight up say that I lost this game and going to see what I could do to adjust my play. So I send out the Reaper and the Hellion in order to try and get some more scouting information. And, oof, did I barely just see this? I think I might have barely just saw the shadow. Yeah, I did barely see this, and I think this is the medevac drop, so I had vision of it. I definitely didn't see it, though. I go to his natural expansion, see that his natural is just starting, and with my attack path, I feel like I should have known that there's no ground attack coming in, so this siege tank is very poorly positioned. I have everything in my main base, but he just drops right here and then sieges up, and I proceed to lose everything. I disable one of the tanks. Raven doesn't have enough energy to disable the second one, but in terms of just units lost and the DPS output of Stim Marines with medevacs healing them, I'm going to tap out shortly here. So I actually played a second game against the same player and he did the same build, but it's not as simple as just, oh, well, if I just position everything up into my main base, then I'll be safe. Because in the second game that I played versus this player, he just did a scan on my main base, saw that I was very well defensively positioned in my main base because I had, again, all my units up here, and then he just dropped in my natural expansion. And while getting 2 tanks is ideal in this situation, there's no way that I could have known if it was battle cruiser build or not. So I feel like getting the Cyclone is completely reasonable. I feel like I possibly just tried to push this issue too early. Without the siege tank at my natural expansion, I feel like I was in no real position to try and fight this army, and there was no real reason to try and force the issue without it. I tried to get it before he was too sieged up, but obviously that just wasn't enough. And possibly just getting the siege tank right here and slowly trying to push it back would have been better, but I would have lost a lot of mining time too. Decisions, decisions. And I also could have sent these units a little bit more aggressively. The thing that I did in the second game was that I poked my Reaper up the ramp in order to see exactly what my opponent was doing. And I also feel like if I did a SCV scout at the beginning of the game, I could have at least seen that it was a 2 gas opening, but that's kind of implied from not seeing a command center at the natural expansion. Um, so, things that I really could have done better is once I saw that there was a really delayed expansion and that there were no units coming in the normal attack path through this area with my initial scouts, I feel like I probably um, could have just unsieged this tank and maybe gone back up to the main base. Probably should have had a couple of extra units here to just get that extra vision. I don't believe I had any vision of the corner of my base in this game at all, which is a little unnatural for me because most of the time I'll place my second depot in a corner right here. But those are definitely a couple of adjustments. So to kind of summarize, when I scout, I will reposition the tank if I don't see anything. Obviously, getting a second tank would be ideal, but you can't always know everything in this game, unfortunately. And repositioning this supply depot would be nice. And obviously, I mean, scouting, seeing the medevac when I could have would have been the best thing, but people make mistakes as well. And more concrete is seeing these forms of there's no units here, there's no expansion here, and I don't have to worry about a frontal attack, possibly even sending an SCV up here because I'm already in an economic lead. If we look into the income tab, yeah, I'm like 500 more minerals per minute, I believe that is. So would have been in a great, or it would have been fine to just send an SCV to spot for potential ground attacks. So that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys later.